So we need to come together and say we need an end to this man-made poverty. The poverty in this country is man-made because it is a result of corruption. So we need to stop corruption, and we cannot stop corruption as workers only. We need all citizens to take a stand and say we are not going to tolerate corruption. We are going into the streets. We are coming out of the streets when there's no corruption or when there's commitment to end corruption. The poverty that we have is man-made. It is a result of poor policies like the Transitional Stabilization Program and now the NDS that they're trying to come up with. Programs, policies that seek to enrich a few at the expense of the majority. So we need everyone. We are calling for all Zimbabweans, despite your political affiliation. There's no ZANU-PF person who can go in OK and buy using the ZANU-PF card. You can't also do it because you are an MDC. If you are a worker, you use your salary to buy your food, you use your salary to pay your rent house, to send kids to school. Look at it now, school fees has been increased, electricity has been increased, toll fees have been increased, all rates have been increased, prices of goods and services are pegged in US dollars, they are increasing daily. A kg of meat is now going for $4 to $4.50 US. How many of us are earning sufficient to be able to be food secure? So this is a crisis, a national crisis. And where you have state failure, you cannot look upon those who have failed you to remedy it. So it's not going to, the remedy is not going to come from government. The remedy is not going to come from the state. In all institutions, you can't even expect the parliament to work, because part of the reasons why we've got a state failure is the state has been militarized. So we do not have the democracy in this country. So you cannot use democratic institutions like parliament, like tripartite negotiating forum, not even the Poland quasi-political dialogues that the state has come up with. You cannot use any of those. The only thing that can countervail military power is the power of the people. So this is why we are calling all citizens, all workers, to come together and say, we need decency, we need restoration of our dignity, we need prosperity in our country, we need to end corruption, poor governance, state brutality, and militarization of the state. So if he says he's opening Zimbabwe for business, what will the business come here for if there's no market? This is one contradiction that we have also pointed out on the budget strategy paper and on TSP. So the state is brutalizing its own citizens. It is brutalizing its own workers. It's brutalizing even its own businesses, but then call external people to come in. When investors look at the country, they carry out a vigorous, a very serious analysis of that country. Part of the issues that they look at is there a market for our products? If they come here and produce, who is going to buy for them? So in a country where all workers are now slaves and where demand has gone down by up to 40%, things are getting rotten in the supermarkets there. People are not buying. Why should another supermarket come here to sell to whom? So that's a big contradiction. Investors also look at political stability. So there's no political stability in here. Investors can't even rely on the parliament, because when you think the parliament is even or balanced with these recalls, you then have one party dominating. And investors do not like that, because when one party is dominating, they can change laws willy-nilly, they can even change the constitution. And investors want security of their investments. And part of the guarantees of the security of their investment is found in the parliament, it's found in the constitution. It is also found in an independent judiciary and an independent prosecuting authority. But if you see at how the judiciary has also been captured and adulterated, no one can now trust the judiciary. So no investor, no sane investor will bring money in here. This is why we are seeing those who are being said to be investors by government. They're just dealers, they're just front men for the people who are in power. They loot here and send diamonds outside, they send gold in Dubai, as we have seen now. and then they bring their friends back, funding them, pretending to be investors. No serious investor will come in this country until we address the real challenges that the country is facing: lack of rule of law, lack of constitutionalism, lack of democracy, fascism, and brutality against citizens. No investor would want to come here and be abducted, tortured, simply for having and holding a different view with the government. So that's the first. But the second part is, why are we focusing on simply bringing foreign direct investment at the expense of developing our own capabilities, our own informal economy, our own small, medium, and micro enterprises that we have that are struggling? If the president was serious and if the government was serious about developing this economy, they should have started at developing our own entrepreneurs that we have in this country, the small players that we have, build them. Why? Because if you bring in foreign direct investors, firstly, you are going to compete with everyone else, and we don't have the environment that is competitive. Secondly, they are going to bring high-tech, new machine, new innovation. Yes, we need that, but we should know that it will come at an expense of employment. So they bring a machine here that can produce, but that only needs 10 people to work on. But if we are going to take an organic and ethnocentric economic development plan where we look at internal, if we develop our own agriculture, if we develop our own manufacturing capacity of the companies that we have that are employing people, they still have the opportunity and the capacity to ramp up production, but at the same time also employing more people. We look at the labor intensive sectors. Investors are not interested in developing your employment. They are not interested in developing your economy. They are interested in making and maximizing as much as possible the profit that they can come up with. So that is an illusion that we are going to have serious investors here. And even if we have them, we are not going to have economic development.